at all.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I stand guided. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move the following special motion on the consideration of nominees of appointments as members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation. Mr. Speaker, that taking into consideration the findings of the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning in its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation laid on the table of this House this morning of Thursday, the 8th of December 2022, and pursuant to the provisions of Article 215 and 250 of the Constitution and Section 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act of 2021, that this House approves the appointment of the following persons as members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation. 1, Mr. Benedict Mwasia Mutiso. 2, Mr. Wilfred Koitamet Olekina Njoshoi. 3, Mr. Jonas Mr. Vincent Kuko. 4, Dr. Isabel Nyambura Weyaki. 5, Ms. Hadija Ngani Juma. 6, Dr. George Jalango Midio. And 7, the Honorable Fatma Gedi Ali, CBS. Honorable Speaker, the Departmental Committee on Finance and National Planning undertook the approval hearings of the 7 nominees for appointment as members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation pursuant to Article 215, 2B and C of the Constitution, and as communicated to this House by yourself, the Honorable Speaker, on Tuesday, the 29th of November 2022. Honorable Speaker, Article 215, 2B and C of the Constitution, as read together with Article 215.3, requires political parties represented in the National Assembly and the Senate to nominate 2 and 5 persons respectively for appointment as members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation from among persons who are not members of Parliament. Honorable Speaker, Section 5.1 of the Commission on Revenue Allocation Act of number 16 of 2011 provides that the person to be a member of the Commission must bear the following qualifications. That 1, Mr. Speaker, the person must be a holder of a bachelor's degree or an equivalent profession from a recognized university. And number 2, that person must have financial and economic experience of at least 10 years for members of the Commission and 15 years for the position of the chairperson. And 3, that the person must have a distinguished career in their respective field. And Mr. Speaker, number 4, that the said persons must adhere to Chapter 6 of the Constitution on matters of integrity. Honorable Speaker, the leadership of majority and minority parties in the Houses of Parliament on Saturday, the 26th of November 2022, notified the National Assembly of the nominations of the 7 nominees for appointments as members of the Commission on Revenue Allocation. Consequently, Mr. Speaker, on Saturday, the 26th of November 2022, the matters were referred to our committee, bearing their curriculum vitae and the names of the nominee. Honorable Speaker, in compliance with Article 118B of the Constitution, Section 6.4 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, number 33 of 2011, the Clerk of the National Assembly placed an advertisement on the print media on Saturday, 26 November 2022, informing the public of the nomination date, time, and place of the approval hearing in consideration of our Constitution on the requirement of public participation in all government appointments, Mr. Speaker. The public was admitted to submit memoranda by the way of written submissions and affidavit on the suitability of the nominees in conformity with Section 6.9 of the Public Appointments Act. The memoranda, Mr. Speaker, were to be received on or before Friday, the 2nd of December 2022 by 5 p.m. Honorable Speaker, the nominees were cleared. All the nominees were cleared by the Kenya Revenue Authority, by EACC, by the Director of Criminal Investigation, by the Higher Education Loans Board, and the Office of Registrar of Political Parties. The committee undertook public hearings for the 7 nominees on Monday, the 5th of December 2022, from 9 a.m. moving all the way late to past 8 p.m. to listen to these nominees, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the committee receives 2 petitions or affidavits, one by Mr. Julius Cairo Kiambati and by Mr. Abbas Adam, contesting the suitability of one Honorable Fatma Gedi, CBS. The committee, Mr. Speaker, considered the memoranda by Mr. Julius Cairo and Mr. Abbas Adam that were in the form of written statements contesting the suitability of Honorable Fatma Gedi Ali, CBS. In the affidavit, Mr. Speaker, the petitioners deponed that, one, the nominee was a member of a governing body of Jubilee Party, contrary to Article 77(2) of the Constitution. That, two, the nominee did not possess a university degree. And three, the nominee did not possess the necessary 10 years experience on financial and economic matters as contained in the Constitution. Mr. Speaker, the committee considered the petition and observed the following. That, one, the nominee had indeed resigned as a national chairperson of Jubilee Party's Women's League, as indicated by a letter from the Registrar of Political Parties. And Mr. Speaker, this has been opined in the report as contained on our website, the Honorable Fatma Gedi's resignation letter, and a confirmation from the Registrar of Political Parties that indeed the Honorable Fatma Gedi had resigned as a chairperson of the Women's League of Jubilee Party. Number two, regarding her qualification as per Section 6(1) of the Commission on Revenue Allocation Act, this committee was able to verify that indeed the Honorable Fatma Gedi holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree in Human Resource Management from Gresa University and awarded this degree in the year 2017. Mr. Speaker, concerning the question of on the experience on financial matters for more than 10, for the requirement to have experience in financial and economic matters for at least 10 years, the committee was able to establish that the Honorable Fatma Gedi served as a member of the Budget and Appropriations Committee between 2017 and 2022, and as its chairperson, the Departmental Committee on Delegated Registration during the same period. Mr. Speaker, in addition, the Honorable Fatma Gedi had served as an accounts assistant in various firms, in various NGOs in this country, and we are able to ascertain that cumulatively, the Honorable Fatma Gedi had more than 10 years of experience in financial and economic matters, therefore fulfilling the requirements of the Constitution for appointment as a member of the Committee on the Commission on Revenue Allocation. Honorable Speaker, regarding Mr. Benedict Mwasia Mutiso, our second nominee, Mr. Benedict Mwasia Mutiso indeed holds a bachelor's degree in finance from Catholic University of Eastern Africa. He has had a very decorated career of more than 17 years, 10 of which were in public service, specifically working with the Kenya Revenue Authority as a compliance manager, Mr. Speaker. In addition, the person has been practicing as a consultant in several businesses, and therefore has more than 10 years of experience, financial experience in financial matters. Regarding, Mr. Speaker, the other candidates, the one, Dr. George Midiwo. Dr. George Midiwo, Mr. Speaker, has again a decorated career of being a medical doctor holding a master's degree in public health, has worked in management for the National Hospital Insurance Fund for more than 10 years, is an immediate former chief officer in Siaya County Government, and has worked in other hospitals, including Baghdadi Hospital. Dr. George Midiwo holds a bachelor's degree from a university in Russia, and therefore fulfilling the requirements of holding a bachelor's degree and more than 10 years financial experience. Regarding Ms. Hadija Ngani Juma, Mr. Speaker, Ms. Hadija holds a bachelor's degree in sociology and IT from Maseno University. She holds a higher diploma in early childhood education from the University of Nairobi. And Mr. Speaker, Ms. Juma were able to establish has more than 12 years of experience, starting from when she was a clerk with the Ministry of Labor, Social Security and Services, which she saw the implementation of now the digitization of the social fund we pay to the old people, Mr. Speaker. We had a chance to listen to Dr. Isabel Nyambura Oyaki. Until now, Mr. Speaker, Dr. Isabel Nyambura Oyaki is a director with NGCDF board. She holds a bachelor's degree in economics from the University of Nairobi. And it's important to note, Mr. Speaker, that this lady had honors in her economics degree, holds a doctorate in economics from the University of Nairobi, and Masters of Arts in Leadership and Governance from Pan-African East African University. Mr. Speaker, we're able to establish that Dr. Isabel Nyambura Oyaki has worked extensively in various government organizations, has done consultancy on matters of economics and finance, and has an accumulated wealth of, has accumulated experience of more than 11 years in policy related to health, planning, trade negotiations, and the economy. Mr. Speaker, we listened to Mr. Jonas Kuko. Mr. Speaker, this was a candidate who started their career from getting a certificate, going all the way to a diploma and earning a bachelor's degree in agriculture in farm technology from Egerton University. Mr. Kuko, Honorable Speaker, has worked as a principal for Cheborowa Agriculture Training College and demonstrated to have used prudently the funds that were allocated to the institution and winning 4 years in a row to be the principal of the year, Mr. Speaker. In addition, Mr. Kuko served in the Rural Electrification Authority as a board director, and therefore having accumulated financial and economic experience of around 15 years. Mr. Speaker, regarding Mr. Wilfred Koitamet Olekina, this, Mr. Speaker, was one of the people that led to the constitutional change in this country, having served as the chairperson, the Constitution of Kenya Review Commission, served again as a deputy coordinator for Crisis Response Center at the office of the former Prime Minister, has served on the board of Kenya Tourism Board, as an executive director of Maasai Education Discovery, and most recently as a board member for KIPRA. He holds an executive master's degree in policy, public policy and administration, and a bachelor's degree in philosophy and literature from Kenyatta University. Mr. Speaker, all the 7 nominees were therefore able to establish that they met the requirements of the Constitution in terms of their academic qualification, their academic performance, and pertaining to Chapter 6 of the Constitution, we were able to receive information from all the government agencies, including the DCI, EACC, and all those others, confirming their suitability to be commissioners with the Commission of Revenue Allocation. Mr. Speaker, it's very important to notice and to really thank the members who sat through the long meetings to make sure that we approved or we vetted these nominees. Because, Mr. Speaker, the current term of the current CRA commissioners ends on the 31st of December this year, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, this sitting was extremely important, and I really want to thank the honorable members of Finance and National Planning Committee for sitting through long hours and objectively vetting these commissioners for tabling this afternoon. And those many remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and ask the honorable Vice Chairperson, Parliamentary Committee of Finance and National Planning, CPA Ambassador Lagat, to second. I move.
Berenger Lagat.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second this report. Mr. Speaker, I want to join my chair